Kouri Richins is facing even more charges. That's what we're going to go through today. Hello, my name's Katie. Welcome to my channel. This is where we discuss true crime, politics and current affairs. If you are a returning viewer, first of all, have you subscribed? Clearly you like my content if you keep coming back for more. But you know how this goes. We pick an article, we go through it, and I give my uneducated opinion and we continue the conversation in the comments below. I have been a bit AWOL the past few weeks. I haven't been well. I'm still not 100%. And of course, more comes out in the Kouri Richins case. Typical. But if you are new to the case, a very brief summary. Kouri Richins is accused of fatally poisoning her husband, Eric Richins, back in March 2022. Kouri wasn't arrested until May 2023 and she has been sat in jail ever since awaiting her trial. Now, there's civil cases going on. Kouri's family have spoken out numerous times to the press, and recently there was a 48-hour documentary, which I've still not watched. I don't think I'm going to. And the things that came out in the 48-hour documentary, the prosecution were unaware of. So they put in a motion, a court order, whichever one it is, requesting that 48 hours give them all the information they have. And I think that's where all these new charges have come from. Should have kept your mouth shut. But we're going to go through them. It's a long one. Get yourself a drink, get yourself comfortable. We're going to be here for a while. So we're still with Judge Mrazek, and charge number 1, criminal homicide, aggravated murder, domestic violence, first degree felony. That's between on or about March the 3rd, 2022 and March the 4th, 2022 in Utah. Kouri did intentionally or knowingly cause the death of another individual under any of the following circumstances. The actor committed homicide for pecuniary gain, and or the actor committed homicide by means of the administration of a poison of a lethal substance or of any substance administered in a lethal amount, dosage or quantity. Furthermore, the defendant was a cohabitant with the victim. So they're saying that she has murdered Eric because she's going to gain financially, and she did it via poison. And then they've got charge number 2. This is a new one. Attempted criminal homicide, aggravated murder, domestic violence, another first degree felony. On or about February 14th, 2022, Kouri did intentionally or knowingly attempt to cause the death of another individual under any of the following circumstances. The actor attempted to commit homicide for pecuniary financial gain, and or the actor attempted to commit homicide by means of the administration of a poison of any lethal substance or of any substance administered in a lethal amount. Furthermore, the defendant was a cohabitant with the victim. So we've spoken about this before in a previous video because I've got a whole playlist because I'm obsessed with the case. But February 2022, Eric alleged to friends that he thought Kouri was trying to poison him because he was ill following a Valentine's meal. Charge number 3, distribution of a controlled substance. So March 2022, the defendant intentionally distributed a controlled or counterfeit substance that is a classified substance. She bought some illicit fentanyl, allegedly. And charge number 4 is the same. These are second degree felonies, distribution of a controlled substance. One March 2022 and the other one in February 2022. This, again, charge number 5 is a new one. She only had 3 charges before. The alleged murder, and I think it was only the 2 illicit substances one. But charge number 5, mortgage fraud, a second-degree felony. In June 2021, Kouri did, with the intent to defraud, knowingly make any material misstatement, misrepresentation, or omission during the mortgage lending process, intending that it be relied upon by a mortgage lender, borrower, or any other party to the mortgage lending process. Furthermore, the value of the property, money, or things obtained or sought to be obtained exceeds $5,000. I'm surprised that's a second-degree felony, but it's a financial crime. They do tend to go after those quite hard. Charge number 6. So it's exactly the same as the previous one. So, did with intent to defraud, make a material misstatement, representation, or omission during the mortgage lending process. But this was in August 2021. The previous one was in June 2021. So a couple of months later, she does the same thing. And then charge number 7, insurance fraud. January 2022, Kouri did with intent to deceive or defraud, present or cause to be presented any oral or written statement or representation as part of or in support of a claim for payment or other benefit pursuant to an insurance policy, certificate, or contract, knowing that the statement or representation contained false, incomplete, or fraudulent information concerning any fact or thing material to the claim. Furthermore, the value of the property, money, or things is over $5,000. And then there's, I think it's the exact same one. No. Oh, okay, so that was charge number 7, insurance fraud. And then the same time, so when I think she tried to claim the insurance at this point. No, she didn't, because he was still here, wasn't he? This is when she tried to put Eric's life insurance, business insurance thing in her own name. So she's been charged twice. So that previous one was she intended to deceive or defraud as to be so that she could benefit from an insurance policy. The next one, and again, same day, but then again in August, so January 2022 and August 2022, Kouri did with intent to deceive or defraud, intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly devise a scheme or artifice to obtain anything of value by means of false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, or material omissions. Furthermore, the value of the property, etc., is over $5,000. So they're saying she planned it. Not only did she do it, she planned it. Okay, I'm seeing the difference between the two. Charge number 9, forgery. This is a 3rd-degree felony. In June 2021, the Kouri did with the purpose to defraud someone, make, complete, execute, authenticate, or utter a writing so that the writing or the making, completion, execution, authentication, or utterance purport to be the act of another person, whether that person is existent or non-existent. Is that when she tried to put things in her name rather than Eric's? Maybe. I can't remember if we've covered this one. And then she's charged with the same thing again a couple of months later, August 2021. So I think this is all about that time when she tried to put Eric's insurance in her name so that she could claim it. Yes, because Eric had put one of his sisters as his beneficiary. and Kouri wanted to change that to herself. Maybe. I could be wrong. As I said at the beginning, uneducated opinion. So that was charges 9 and 10. And then she's charged with another forgery felony in January 2022. Exactly the same as the previous ones. Ugh. And so this is the second amended information. They've done a charge sheet before. This is a new one. They've added numerous charges to it. So that was 11 charges. She had 3, I think. 3 or 4. Should have kept your mouth shut, people. But the second amended information is supported by the following probable cause statement, which is based on evidence obtained from Detective Jeff O'Driscoll. Eric Richins died from illicit fentanyl poisoning. On March the 4th, Kouri called emergency services and reported that her husband, Eric Richins, was, quote, not breathing, he's cold, he doesn't have a pulse, end quote. 10 minutes later, EMS, emergency services, and the sheriff's deputies arrived at the Richins home. They performed life-saving measures, but ultimately declared that Eric died at 4:58 a.m. EMS personnel thought that he'd been dead a while and noted that he was asystole the whole time. I don't know what that word means. A pathologist at the office of the medical examiner performed an autopsy on Eric and concluded that his immediate cause of death was drug intoxication, fentanyl. The medical examiner determined that the level of fentanyl in Eric's blood was 15 ng/ml, which is approximately 5 times the lethal dose, and that his gastric fluid contained an additional 20,000 ng/ml of fentanyl. The medical examiner determined that the byproducts of the fentanyl found in Eric's gastric fluid were typical of illicit fentanyl, not medical grade fentanyl. The medical examiner determined that the fentanyl found in Eric's body had been orally ingested. The medical examiner also found 16,000 ng/ml of quetiapine in Eric's gastric fluid. This is an atypical antipsychotic medication used for the treatment of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and major depressive disorder. It is widely used as a sleep aid due to its sedating effect. The defendant, Kouri, told law enforcement that at the time of Eric's death, she had a prescription for quetiapine. The night of Eric's death. At 7:22 on March the 3rd, 2022, which was the night of Eric's death, Kouri's paramour text messaged the defendant a photograph of 2 people kissing that was captioned, "Love you." At 8:36 p.m, Kouri responded, "Love you," with a kiss emoji. Okay. So affairs have been rumoured on both sides, but this is the first time I have seen it in court documents. I'm behind on the case. I'm not gonna lie, I'm behind. As I said, I've been ill. But and I love the word paramour. I just love it. But so Kouri was texting her potential lover the night she allegedly poisoned her husband. Ew. Whilst emergency service personnel were attending to Eric, Kouri told law enforcement that she and Eric had a drink together at 9 o'clock to celebrate something at work the following day. A year later, Kouri told law enforcement that she made Moscow mules in the kitchen and brought them into their bedroom. Kouri further said that they drank the Moscow mules while sat on the bed. Sometime after Eric's death, Kouri wrote in a journal that on the night of Eric's death, she and Eric went to the kitchen and both started grabbing ingredients for a Moscow Mule and a lemon drop. We finished talking, made our way back to our bedroom and brushed our teeth. On the night of Eric's death, Kouri told law enforcement that they eat THC gummies. Sometimes Eric will eat a gummy before he goes to bed. It didn't seem like he did though. So that night she doesn't think that he took a gummy, THC gummy. A year after Eric's death, Kouri told law enforcement that she saw Eric take a THC gummy in the bedroom after drinking the Moscow Mule. Kouri then clarified, quote, "I didn't actually see him take it, he told me he took it. He had to have taken it while I was making the drinks," end quote. In explaining to law enforcement how the defendant thinks the fentanyl got into Eric's system, the defendant said, quote, "I honest to God think it was one of those gummies, 100%, end quote. After the defendant's arrest for the murder of Eric, the defendant's mother asked Kouri if she was sure that the fentanyl came from the THC gummy. Kouri replied, "That's what I'm banking on, yes." The medical examiner did not find any THC in Eric's blood or gastric fluid. The THC gummies in Eric's home at the time of his death were tested and did not contain fentanyl. We're getting a lot more detail this time round. The defendant told law enforcement that she went to bed with Eric in the bedroom at approximately 9:30, 10 on March the 3rd, 2022, and shortly thereafter went to one of their children's bedrooms to sleep with the child because the child was having nightmares. Kouri said she awoke in the child's bedroom at approximately 3 a.m. the following morning, March the 4th, 2022, and went back to her own bedroom. Kouri said that she was asleep in the child's room the entire time. Kouri told law enforcement that when she left the bedroom at approximately 9:30, 9:45 to go into the child's bedroom, she left her cell phone plugged in next to her own bed and did not take it to the child's bedroom. Kouri told law enforcement that upon returning to the bedroom, her own bedroom, she felt Eric and he was cold to the touch and not breathing, and that's when she called 911. And the Summit County Dispatch received her call at 3:21 a.m. Forensic analysis of Kouri's cell phone shows that it was unlocked 6 times between 3:06 and 3:21, so that's 15 minutes. So she found Eric dead. She unlocked her phone 6 times before phoning the police or ambulance, whatever you want to call it. The analysis also shows that in the 13 minutes between 3:08 and 3:21, the defendant's phone or an associated device travelled approximately 378 feet. Is that in one, or are they counting it going back and forth? The defendant told law enforcement that she performed CPR on Eric pursuant to the 911 dispatcher's instructions. The 911 recording captures the defendant counting as if she is performing chest compressions. The defendant told her best friend, quote, "I pumped so damn hard, so hard, screaming at him to come back to life," end quote. The defendant wrote in the journal that she, quote, "began CPR compressions until the EMT arrived. They immediately took over," end quote. According to EMS personnel, dispatch say she was doing CPR, but the first on scene, the fireman, said that she wasn't. Awkward. And now we're going to go back in time to that Valentine's Day 2022. A certain diner in Utah, that they're going to be calling the diner, opens daily at 7 a.m. At 8:53 a.m. on Valentine's Day 2022, Kouri placed a 1-minute phone call to the diner. Kouri and Eric's joint bank account statement shows a $41.29 purchase at the diner on this day. At 9:41, Kouri text messaged her paramour quote, headed that way, end quote. At 9:49, Kouri texted her paramour a screenshot of a navigation application on her cell phone showing her current location in Camas and her projected arrival at an unknown destination at 10:49. At 11:09, Eric Richins placed a 2-minute phone call to Kouri. At 11:27, Eric text messaged a photograph to Kouri. That photograph has been deleted from both the defendant's and Eric's phones. At 11:33, Eric texts Kouri, quote, I'm going to go lay down for a bit. If I don't start getting better, I'm going to head to the hospital, end quote. 1 minute later, the defendant responded, geez, is it that bad? Need me to come home? Go take a nap and call me when you're up. And 5 minutes later, at 11:39, activity recorded on Eric's phone and associated devices stopped. Activity did not resume until nearly 2 hours later at 1:32 p.m. At 1:43 p.m, Eric texted the defendant, Kouri, and asked, are you home? Kouri responded, no, in Provo, waiting for my cabinet installer guy, are you home? So she's doing up a house at this point, so she's probably there. At 1:45, Eric responded, in the office, I've been sleeping in here. Eric's office was located in a freestanding structure behind the home. Their own home, not the one she was doing up. At 1:59 p.m, Eric called witness 1, a close friend, and reported, quote, you almost lost me, end quote. Eric told witness 1 that the defendant had left him a sandwich and a note in the front seat of his truck, that he went in the house with the sandwich, had one bite of the sandwich and broke out into hives. Eric said that he then injected himself with his son's EpiPen that was on the counter, drank a bottle of Benadryl and went to sleep. No wonder you went to sleep, dude, that's a lot of medicine. Eric told witness 1 that he had almost died. Witness 1 could hear the fear in Eric's voice and tell that Eric was scared. At 2:11 p.m, this is all the same day, Valentine's Day 2022, Eric calls witness 2, another close friend, and reported, quote, I think my wife tried to poison me, end quote. Eric told witness 2 that the defendant had left him his favourite sandwich from the diner along with a note. He said that he ate some of the sandwich, got sick and blacked out. Eric told witness number 2 that he felt like he was going to die. Witness 2 was struck by the tone of Eric's voice and said that Eric seemed different, down and sombre. There's a bit of confusion for me between those two witnesses. So one has said that he wasn't well and that he took the Benadryl, etc., and that's why he passed out. And second one, there's no mention of the Benadryl, etc., but maybe that's just they didn't think to mention it, perhaps, or maybe Eric didn't think to mention it. Opioids, including fentanyl, can cause allergic and pseudo-allergic reactions to include hives. Eric did not have any food allergies. And then in June 2022, 3.5 months after Eric's death, Kouri texted her best friend about this incident. The defendant wrote, quote, it was Valentine's Day and Eric and I were both working from home that day, and I ordered him lunch from the diner. He never broke out in hives or used an EpiPen. I was effing with him. He said the sandwich hurt his stomach, so he was going to take a nap. No hives, no EpiPen, end quote. On August 22nd, 2023, nearly 4 months after the defendant was arrested for the murder of Eric, Kouri discussed this incident in 2 phone calls. In a phone call with her mother, Kouri confirmed she was the person who picked up sandwiches from the diner on that Valentine's Day. She said, quote, we ate in the office, end quote. In a phone call with her brother, Kouri discussed buying lunch at the diner that day. The defendant purchased illicit fentanyl shortly before Eric's near death on Valentine's Day 2022 and death on March 3rd, 4th, 2022. Kouri occasionally employed witness 3 to assist her with renovating houses. On the 20th of January 2022, Kouri texted witness 3, quote, "I did want to chat with you about something super random. Not now at kid stuff. I'll call you tomorrow if that works." End quote. On January the 21st, 2022 at 7:24 p.m, Kouri again texted witness number 3, quote, "Hey, today snuck away from me. Can I give you a call in the morning around 11:30? End quote. The following day, January 22nd, 2022 at 11:06 a.m, the defendant texts witness number 3, quote, "Got a sec." Witness 3 told law enforcement that he spoke with the defendant on January the 22nd, 2022, and that the defendant asked him for fentanyl. The defendant told witness number 3 that she wanted the fentanyl for a client who had back pain. Witness 3 told Kouri that he would not get her fentanyl and that Kouri hung up on them. I don't understand why a client would ask you to get fentanyl. It's really weird. On January the 22nd, 2022, a lot is happening on this day. At 5:35 p.m, after the phone call in which witness 3 declined to get fentanyl for Kouri then text messaged witness number 3, quote, "Have another one for you. Call me if you get a sec." End quote. Witness 3 told law enforcement that during a second phone call with the defendant on January the 22nd, 2022, the defendant asked him for Probable. Witness 3 told Kouri that he could not get her Probable. The text messages from January the 22nd, 2022 between the defendant and witness 3 were manually deleted from Kouri's phone. After that date, Kouri and witness 3 did not communicate ever again. Kouri and witness 3 had communicated regularly throughout the prior year. On May the 31st, 2022, approximately 3 weeks after Kouri's arrest for the murder of Eric, the defendant's mother texts Kouri saying, quote, "Witness 3, obviously they put their name, running his mouth," end quote. Hang on. You can text someone in jail? She's in jail. How can she receive a text message? Oh. The defendant occasionally employed witness 4 to clean houses. Is witness 4 Carmen Lauber? Witness 4 told law enforcement that sometime in early 2022, before Eric's death, Kouri either called or texted her to ask that she get some fentanyl for Kouri. Forensic analysis of Verizon's records for the defendant's cell phone. So is Verizon a cell phone company? But the forensic analysis of phone records for Kouri show 746 text messages, 94 MMS messages, so like images or videos, and 12 calls between the Kouri and witness 4 between January the 1st, 2022 and March the 15th, 2022. These messages were manually deleted from Kouri's phone. Kouri's phone contained messages to and from witness 4 before and after this time frame. Witness 4 told law enforcement that before the defendant's request for fentanyl, Witness 4 told law enforcement that pursuant to the defendant's request for fentanyl, she contacted witness 5 for an introduction to someone that would sell her the fentanyl. Witness 5 confirmed that Witness 4 asked her for an introduction to someone that would sell them fentanyl. Witness 5 elaborated that Witness 4 messaged her through Facebook asking to speak with her and that she called Witness 4 shortly after. A Facebook message from Witness 4 to Witness 5 on February the 5th, 2022 asked, "Text me, I've got a question, won't do it on this." Oh, this is going to get confusing. In response to 4's inquiry, 5 provided 4 with the phone number of a fentanyl dealer, who is known as witness number 6. So 4, their phone contains a contact for 6. The contact is labelled in a fashion that connects witness 5 with 6. Are you as lost as I am? Okay. Witness 4 told law enforcement that she contacted Witness 6 shortly after receiving his contact information from Witness 5 and asked to purchase fentanyl. Witness 4's phone records established that she text messaged Witness 6 on February the 10th, 2022, a few days before Eric thinks he was poisoned on Valentine's Day. Witness 4 told law enforcement that she met Witness 6 at a local gas station on February the 11th, 2022, and purchased from him 15 to 30 round light green-blue pills, which she understood to be fentanyl. Witness 4's phone data shows that she called Witness 6 several times on February the 11th, 2022. Witness 4 stated that these calls were to coordinate the specific timing of the fentanyl purchase. Witness 4's phone data also shows that she texted Witness 6 several times whilst she was located at the gas station. Witness 4's phone data shows several text messages between Kouri and Witness 4 on February the 11th. And they text each other numerous times on February the 11th, some of which were when Witness 4 was at that local gas station. Witness 4 told law enforcement that she delivered the pills that she purchased from Witness 6 to the defendant in a hand-to-hand transaction in the driveway of their home in Heber on either February the 11th or February the 12th, 2022. Witness 4 phone data shows that in addition to the text messages Kouri and Witness 4 exchanged on February the 11th, Kouri and Witness 4 exchanged text messages on February the 12th as well. Witness 4 was located at her own home during these exchanges. Kouri and Witness 4 exchanged 30 text messages on Valentine's Day 2022. Witness 4, this is Carmen Lauber. I've heard this story before and she was named as Carmen Lauber. And it's going to be a lot easier if I just call her Carmen or Lauber. So Carmen told law enforcement that late February 2022, Kouri told her that the fentanyl pills that she had previously provided were not strong enough and asked that she get some stronger fentanyl. Carmen stated that Kouri specifically asked for some of the Michael Jackson stuff during the second request for fentanyl, but subsequently conceded that Kouri may have referred to Michael Jackson during her earlier request for fentanyl. Michael Jackson died of a propofol overdose. On February the 26th, Lauber sent Witness 5 a Facebook message asking that they again provide her with Witness 6's phone number. Later that same day, Carmen contacted Witness 6 and arranged to purchase additional fentanyl from them at the same local gas station. Carmen's phone data shows that on February the 26th, Kouri and her exchanged several text messages. They continued to exchange text messages into the night as Witness 4, Carmen, travelled from her home to the local gas station and then back with the fentanyl. Carmen's phone data also shows that she exchanged text messages with Kouri and Witness 6 whilst she was at the gas station. On May the 8th, 2023, the defendant was arrested for the murder of Eric and received a copy of the charging document and probable cause statement. The probable cause statement referred to Witness 4 by her initials and contained many of the facts presented above. On a jail call that day with her mother and brother, Kouri said, quote, "Eric asked me to ask Lauba for pain pills," end quote. Why didn't you tell the police that? Internet searches and searches on the defendant's phone. Kouri used several cell phones, including burners. The cell phone that Kouri primarily used leading up to and shortly after Eric's death indicates that a significant amount of information was manually deleted from it, particularly between January and March 2022. Forensic analysis of one of the defendant's cell phones shows that by April 16, 2022, 3 days after law enforcement first informed Kouri that Eric died of a fentanyl overdose, Kouri's cell phone was used to access website articles with the following titles. So she's just found out what Eric died from, and she's now searching Utah State Prison. What happens to deleted messages? Cause of death usually does not impact life insurance payment. How do police and forensic analysts recover deleted data from phones? Signs of being under federal investigation. So she made those searches once she found out what Eric had died from. Forensic analysis of that same cell phone also shows that by June 6, 2022, Kouri's phone was used to conduct the following internet searches. Can you delete everything off an old iPhone without actually having it? Women, Utah prison. Can cops uncover deleted messages iPhone? Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? If someone is poisoned, what does it go down on the death certificate as? How long does life insurance companies take to pay? What is a lethal dose of fentanyl? So again, she's searched for this after she has found out what Eric died of. The defendant was in financial distress at the time of Eric's death. April 2019, Kouri formed her realty company for the purpose of buying and selling real estate. Kouri was the sole member of this company. She used hard money loans to finance the realty company, flipping houses. At the time of Eric's death, Kouri Richins Realty owed hard money lenders at least $1.8 million. In the 5 months prior to Eric's death, Kouri Richins Realty realised $170,000 in revenue, while its monthly debt service exceeded $250,000. The company borrowed from over 25 lenders to support its business and service its debt obligations. Despite Kouri Richins Realty's existing debt and insufficient revenue, Kouri continued to use hard money loans to purchase additional properties, including 3 properties in November 2021. Kouri's company banked with America First Credit Union, also known as America First. At the time of Eric's death, its account balance was minus over $5,000. In the 5 months preceding Eric's death, the defendant sought to withdraw over $300,000 from this account, for which there were clearly insufficient funds. This resulted in 198 separate overdraft and return transaction fees, totaling almost $5,000. In September 2021, Kouri entered into a revenue purchase agreement with Greengrass Holdings, whereby Greengrass purchased $87,000 in purported accounts receivable across 8 companies registered to Kouri. Greengrass remitted $60,000 to Kouri as agreed. Kouri did not remit the purported receivables to Greengrass as agreed. Kouri Richins Realty was the only one of the defendant's 8 companies operating. That's not written correctly. The defendant did not remit the purported receivables to Greengrass as agreed. Kouri Richins Realty was the only one of the defendant's 8 companies operating at the time. In December 2021, 3 months before Eric's death, Greengrass sued Kouri for $87,000 owed, plus interest, cost and disbursements. Kouri had a personal checking account with Navy Federal Credit Union, which included a $15,000 credit line. Between August and December 2021, the account balance ranged between $0 and minus $51, and the credit line balance owing ranged between $13,000 and $14,000. Nevertheless, during this time frame, Kouri wrote 8 checks from this account, totaling $36,000, payable to herself or Kouri Richins Realty. Navy Federal returned those checks unpaid. We've covered before that she was taking money from one to say she owed $5,000. She'd take $5,000 out of one account and put it in this other one, and then someone would attempt to take the $5,000, so someone she owed, and they would take it, but whilst that was clearing those couple of days, she would then withdraw the money and put it somewhere else. So she was moving her money around and things were bouncing. I mean, it's alleged that that's what she was doing. The defendant had an interest in Eric's successful business only if he died whilst they were married. Eric and his business partner owned a stonemasonry business called C&E Stonemasonry LLC. They founded the business December 2009, more than 3 years before Eric's marriage to Kouri. In 2020, C&E, which is the masonry company, adjusted taxable income was over $1.4 million. Eric and Kouri entered into a premarital agreement in June 2013. In this agreement, Kouri released and relinquished all right, claim or interest in the masonry company. The premarital agreement provides that following Eric's marriage to Kouri, C&E Stonemasonry shall nevertheless remain the sole property of Eric. The agreement further provides that Kouri shall have no right or claim to the business, except that if Eric should die before Kouri whilst the two are married, Eric's partnership interest in the business shall transfer to Kouri. As early as February 2019, Kouri told witness 7, a friend, that she was trapped in her marriage, that the premarital agreement would leave her without anything financially, and that she didn't know of a way out of her marriage. In December 2021, Kouri told witness 8 that she felt stuck and trapped in her marriage and it would be better if Eric just died. I wonder if they've got, is it a message? Just told a friend, so I don't know if that was voice, like just told each other face to face. The defendant mistakenly believed she would inherit Eric's estate. October 2020, Eric consulted an estate planning lawyer. Eric informed his lawyer that he wanted to protect himself in the short term from recently discovered and ongoing abuse and misuse of his finances by Kouri, and to protect his 3 children in the long term by ensuring that Kouri would never be in a position to manage his property after his death. November 2020, Eric executed several estate planning instruments, including a healthcare directive, durable power of attorney, pour over will, and the Eric Richins Living Trust. In each of these instruments, he appointed his sister his agent, fiduciary or trustee to the intentional and purposeful exclusion of Kouri. he transferred his home and his interest in the masonry company to his trust. Eric removed Kouri as the beneficiary of a $500,000 life insurance policy and designated the trust as his beneficiary. Follow the money. March 2022, in the immediate aftermath of Eric's death, Eric's sister was at his home. Kouri asked the sister to leave the property. The sister responded that the home did not belong to Kouri and instead belonged to the trust. Kouri then struck the sister several times. Kouri, in a text message to her paramour, recounted the event as, "I lost in on Eric's sister finally and punched her a couple of times. Angry face emoji. My brother ripped me off of her before it got too intense. She called the cops. It was at my own house because I told her to leave and she wouldn't. Said this is her brother's and she didn't have to. So I said get out or I'll get you out." End quote. Sheriff's deputies responded to Eric's home and called Eric Richins' estate planning lawyer from the scene. The lawyer explained to Kouri that Eric had indeed placed his home into a trust and that his sister was the trustee. Different sister, not the one she punched. The defendant's behaviour during their conversation led the lawyer to believe that Kouri was learning of the trust and its provisions for the first time. The defendant later told law enforcement that she was just now learning, after all of this happened, about the trust in general. The defendant was the beneficiary of a significant amount of insurance on Eric's life. At the time of Eric's death, at least 3 insurance policies on Eric's life existed, with aggregate death benefits of $1.3 million, and the defendant, Kouri, as the beneficiary. A 4th policy existed with a death benefit of $500,000. Kouri mistakenly believed that she was the beneficiary of that policy. A 5th policy existed that paid approximately $168,000 toward the balance of Eric's mortgage. The defendant submitted a falsified bank statement to Ironbridge Financial in support of a mortgage loan application. So this is where some of those new charges have come from. July 2021, Kouri, on behalf of Kouri Richins Realty, entered into a mortgage loan with Ironbridge Financial. In support of the loan application, on June the 29th, 2021, Kouri submitted a purported America First statement for her company dated May 2021, showing an account balance of over $210,000. The actual America First statement for the company dated 31st of May shows an account balance of just over $15,000. It's a bit of a difference between $15,000 and $210,000. The America First statement for Eric's company dated May the 31st, that one shows an account balance of over $210,000. The transaction descriptions listed on the purported statement that Kouri submitted in support of the mortgage loan application are identical to the transaction descriptions listed on Eric's company's statement. The purported statement that Kouri submitted is comprised of the header of Kouri Richins Realty actual statement and the body of Eric's company's statement. In July 2021, whilst processing the mortgage loan, an Ironbridge representative noted to Kouri, quote, "When I ran your credit, it was lower than I expected. Looks like there are some delinquencies with regards to a few credit cards. I was just a bit surprised by that. I know you have a lot of money in the bank to cover expenses." End quote. 3 days later, Kouri explained that she recently learnt about all of this as well. LOL. And then her husband tried to explain to her this was his doing a while ago. She said that they were in the process of separation for one of many reasons, but this is one of them. To keep it short and sweet, LOL. It's been crazy to say the least. Okay. Kouri submitted a falsified bank statement to Boomerang Finance in support of a mortgage loan application. So she's done the same thing again, different dates, but she's used her heading on Eric's company's bank statement to make it look like that's her bank account. And it's not. Kouri submitted a falsified insurance application on Eric's life. January 2022, so this is before his death, Kouri applied to TrueStage for an insurance policy on Eric's life with a death benefit of $100,000, and Kouri named as the beneficiary. This life insurance policy became effective on February the 4th, 2022, 10 days before the attempt on Eric's life and 1 month before his death. The defendant was able to apply for the policy because of her membership in PenFed Credit Union. Eric had no affiliation with PenFed. The policy premiums were deducted from Kouri Richins Realty's America First account. Eric had no affiliation with this account. The address for Eric provided on the application is a P.O. box solely belonging to Kouri. The phone number for Eric provided on the application contained an incorrect digit. The signature on the application that purported to be Eric's is a forgery. August 2023, 3 months after Kouri's arrest, Kouri's mother, while discussing Kouri's finances, asked Kouri about this TrueStage policy. The defendant replied, "Don't talk about that one." I didn't know that you could take a life insurance policy out on someone else. I thought you had to take it out on yourself. Maybe I'm mistaken. And then the defendant fraudulently claimed insurance benefits from Eric's death. Kouri was the beneficiary of 2 insurance policies on Eric's life issued by TrueStage with an aggregate death benefit of $350,000. One of the policies issued on May the 12th, 2017, and the other February 4th, 2022, 1 month prior to Eric's death. On April the 28th, 2022, the defendant submitted a claim against the policies. On June the 7th, 2022, TrueStage learned that Eric's cause of death was drug intoxication, fentanyl. On June 14th, 2022, TrueStage left a voicemail with Kouri requesting a copy of any prescription Eric had for fentanyl. Later that day, the defendant informed TrueStage that the fentanyl was not prescribed and that she didn't have any idea how Eric obtained the fentanyl. The next day, June the 15th, 2022, the defendant reiterated to TrueStage that she really didn't know where Eric obtained the fentanyl. And this is dated, all of this, the whole thing, is dated the 25th of March, 2024. So as of recording this was certified yesterday. It's insane. It does make you wonder if Kouri and her family had kept their mouths shut and not written any novels, maybe they wouldn't have gone after her this hard, because they wouldn't have had the 48-hour documentary that they requested the documents for. And are they pursuing so many charges in the hope that Kouri will make a deal? Because what was it, 11? Yeah, 11 charges now. So are they going to say, okay, we'll drop X amount if you agree to this amount of time in prison? Is that what's going to happen? Is that why they've gone so hard? 3 to 11 is a lot. So she must have given up her right to a speedy trial. If she'd have gone for a speedy trial, none of this would have come out. Because the prosecution wouldn't have had the time to research it. In May this year will be the preliminary hearing when the court and or judge will decide if this will go to a trial. Are they going to propose a deal there and then to avoid trial because it don't look good? Or is Kouri going to fight it all the way? Please keep in mind that as of today, she is presumed innocent. No trial has happened yet. And please remember that there are children involved that have lost their father and their mother is in prison. Jail. So that's, and people have lost Eric, his family, friends, etc. So it is sad. Please keep in mind there are victims when discussing true crime over on all the social medias, etc. But what do you think of all these new charges? Do you think it was the 48-hour documentary? Did they find all the information from that? Are they looking for a plea deal? Is that why they're going so hard? Or is this just going to go to trial? Are we going to see a trial? I'm not sure now. I'm wondering if she's going to take a plea deal. Personally, selfishly, I would like to see a trial because I want to see all the evidence. I'm fascinated by this case and all the surrounding crap. But it would be better for the families if this just went straight to a plea deal. Assuming, but then again, I don't know in Utah, but is there such a thing as you will accept a plea deal without admitting guilt? It's something like you are not guilty, but the evidence seems to suggest you are, so you're not going to fight it. There's something along those lines. Let me know in the comments. But we're going to stop there. This has been a long video. Thank you for your time. I am losing my voice and I'm going to go back. I am behind. This is the latest, but I am behind. So some other things have come out. I will be doing a video eventually. Thank you for your time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Come follow me on social media. And I think that's it. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.